at the sun, I know it is a blessing. Yeah. Lift up my eyes to the hills, I'm blessed, oh man. Sometimes I'm lost and far from.
Want to say good afternoon to our friends locked in across the world. Our friends right here across the island. Good afternoon to our friends locked in Lucy, Black River, Montego Bay, Falmouth, Savannah Lamar. Good afternoon to our friends in Spanish Town, St. Anne's Bay, Mandeville, Maypen, Port Maria, Kingston, Port Antonio, Halfway Tree, Morants Bay. You're inside the Easy Skanking.
I know it is a blessing, so when the evening comes, I lift up my eyes to the hills, I'm blessed, oh man. With my two hands in the air, as far as I can. Yeah. As far as I can. I can, yeah. My two hands in the air, as far as I can. Oh, every morning I rise, I stare at the sun. I know it is a blessing. Yeah. Lift up my eyes to the hills, I'm blessed, oh man. With my two hands in the air, as far as I can. Yeah. As far as I can. I can, yeah.
Get the winning taste and nutrition Jamaica knows and loves with Lasco Food Drink. The time by Lasco Food Drink is
12:27.
You are what you drink. Your premium. Enjoy Heineken specials at your favorite bars. Drink responsibly. Socialize responsibly. The time by Heineken is...
It is 12:27.
Let me start that one, yeah. Let me start that one, yeah. Let me start that one, yeah. Let me start.
And of course, this is how we're going to start as we prepare for Road to Success, the journey, 12:30 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. right here inside the Easy Skanking. Today, of course, we will journey with PJ Wright, an innovative entertainment and marketing maverick who has created some of Jamaica's most iconic events. And we're talking about the likes of Dream Weekend, Daydreams, Chilling on the Farm, Festival of Floats, and Exodus Carnival. PJ Wright is the director of Dream Entertainment, Taste of Life, and Mint Cleaners.
Let me start that one, yeah. Let me start that one, yeah. Let me start that one, yeah.
Sometimes we have a goal, we have a vision, and it all started out as a dream, don't it?
My dream, my dream, my dream, my dream, my dream. Tell you my dream is to live my dream. Yeah, the most I in me sleep when me sleep. Tell you my goal, my goal, my goal. All of my goal is to reach my goal. Live a happy life, put it on me headstone. Nobody no fi cry over me dead. Look at me now, when them treat me less than gold. Put me in a box like a rectangle. Oh, oh. Look at me now, look at me now, look at me now. I mean, I tell you my life, where them used to go round me, go round. No one used to come round me. My life was so lonely. Look at me now, look at me now, look at me now. Me a take plane like JUTC. When you see me, it's on TV. Shows after shows after shows after shows. Tours after tours after tours after tours. When me name call is like roars after roars. Sweet melody and chorus after chorus. Them lock a one door, me bust doors after doors after doors after doors after doors after doors.
Good afternoon. If you're just joining us, you're inside the Easy Skanking. Now, PJ Wright is an innovative entertainment and marketing maverick who has created some of Jamaica's most iconic events, such as Dream Weekend, Daydreams, Chilling on the Farm, Festival of Floats, and Exodus Carnival. With over 16 years in the industry, he and his partners have dominated the entertainment scene with Dream Entertainment and Wright Image Entertainment. Today on the Road to Success, we will journey with PJ Wright, director of Dream Entertainment, Taste of Life, and Mint Cleaners. Good afternoon, PJ. Thank you so much for agreeing to share your journey and taking us with you on the road to success.
Not a problem. I'm happy to be here. As I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for these experiences that we're sharing.
Awesome. No, let's just jump right into it, but begin with your foundation. Like when, we're having these conversations, where did you grow up and, how would you describe your childhood?
Um, Grew up in Kingston boy. Came from, I'd say, a traditional home, mother and father. Lived together, married, and had a brother. Um, I would say out of my childhood was no different from a typical Jamaican. Always look for grandma, always had that good family connection. But more than anything else, what I'm grateful of was that I had a good family unit. And my father showed good leadership, my mother as well, working and at the same time growing us up. We didn't get dragged up, we were brought up, we were taught the important things of making sure that you say thank you, make sure you open the door for the ladies, and more than anything else, believing in yourself, whatever it is that you want to do. Be it that you wanted to be a doctor, or if you wanted to be a farmer, any part of the spectrum. And as it is, I decided that I wanted to go into entertainment and be an entrepreneur. And they believed in it and they supported it.
How old were you when you had that dream, when you had that conversation with them? I know sometimes during childhood, parents at an early age can sometimes pinpoint or detect, or passion. But how old were you when you were like, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur and entertainment, that's what you want to do?
So I was a higgler inside of school. From when I was at St. George's College, I used to sell stuff. Everything I used to sell. Anybody want anything, I used to find it. My brother used to be traveling back and forth. And anytime he was coming back to Jamaica, he did have a bag for PJ. And that bag was for things that PJ gonna sell. I then moved from St. George's because growing up I had a learning disability. I still have a learning disability. But I've just found ways as in not to make it define me, but then understand that there are things that I just don't take on. And I don't take them on because I don't do them well, or because I know that it will take too much out of me to do it properly. And it's very important that they understand that. My parents understood that as well, and they moved me to a school here at Academy that was able to give me a little bit more special attention. So grateful for them at that point. Them school fee that is ridiculous. As in, I know, I remember that conversation with my parents. Let them know, say it's not nice time you're going for. It's because we don't want you fall behind, and I was falling behind. So they made those sacrifices. When I went up there, again, turned a higgler. So I said, yes, up here, so these people have money to spend. I need to find some ways to get some of this money. So instead of selling little trinkets and things like, what was at the time, like candy, different types of candy at George's, I went up there and started selling Armani exchange shirts because that's what they wanted. They wanted stuff like that. And then moving quick into college, I started college. And when doing college, I remember I had a conversation with my father, and my father was just genuinely like, he realized that I'm not that interested in it. And he said to me that it's going to cost X amount of money for me to finish paying college. I have a choice. Finish college and do it, or the money that he says, he's going to give me a portion of it, but I have to start a business. Out of that, I started a little rent-a-car business. At the point, my family's business is in garage. So I went and I bought a used car, and then I started renting that. From that is where it is that I got a call one day, and that call was that RETV needed somebody to work with them. I was already doing events. I'd started doing Daydreams and that stuff, and I'd got that call from RETV saying that they wanted somebody to work in their events department. And then you can just imagine feeling yourself young and doing events and making some money, kind of saying, we don't want to do that. But ultimately, I think that was a stepping stone that took me in the direction of understanding entertainment from the ground up, rather than how a lot of people are, where they go into entertainment and they start feeling themselves with the ego part. As in, I was a man who was packing up the wires making sure that everything was ready before the event and packing up after the event. So it wasn't the glory party. And that's where I got to understand the full gamut of the industry. I think I jumped too far ahead.
No. That's awesome. But what actually propelled you to take that gig with the television station? Because here you are. You mentioned, you're doing the parties, you're doing the events, you're young, and we know what is associated with the parties. So how did you and you were young? How were you able to come to that conclusion and determine that this, even though it's not glamorous, it can propel you to the next level?
All right, so I made a decision. I don't remember who it was I had a conversation with, and I got just a little piece of that, and they're saying that college is important and university is important because it teaches you. It gives you some disciplines. It makes you understand that you don't know everything and you need to grow. And I took that and said, well, this job would be my college. As in, I don't know of a college that I can go to go and learn entertainment like this. As in, there are places that you can understand music production, but the actual hands-on understanding production, that wasn't there. There were courses and those stuff. And at that point, RETV was hot stuff. As in, music videos was the thing. That was where entertainment was going into. So the good part for me was that I made that decision. It wasn't what I expected it to be, as in the pay wasn't that great at all. And it was long hours. As in, at that point, I wasn't used to that amount of work, but I embraced it and I embraced the opportunities that came from it.
What would you consider the most valuable lesson that you learned during that transitional period that you have applied to developing your own business?
One thing that I learned there is that understand that different people have different paths. And don't look at somebody when they look at somebody and judge them, be it good or bad, because you don't know where on their journey they are. So yes, you might see somebody and they say, but they have all of the things and they have a nice car, a nice house, but they're at the end of their journey. They have done their work. They're reaping the rewards of their journey. And then you have somebody who is at the beginning of their journey and they're putting in the work so that they can reap those rewards. I saw that so many times. As in, when I was at RETV, some of the greatest artists out there right now were persons who were coming asking and begging for their videos to be on. No, they are the hottest thing worldwide. So just as it is, you have to remember that just because you may be in a position today that may be a little better off than somebody, that doesn't define who you are and it doesn't define who they are. So you have to accept people that they are at different points in their life on their journey, but nonetheless, they're on a journey.
Very, very vital and crucial message there that you learned at a very young age. Now, on our road to success and on the journey, mentorship is vital. Did you have a mentor or somebody who was guiding you or that you looked up to on your journey?
I didn't have anybody who necessarily guided me. I was lucky to have a father who was an entrepreneur. So I saw how he worked. I saw things that he did. So for example, let me give you this. Like, my father is in automotive. And I remember one day while I was working with him, I asked him, why do we keep on carrying? So he does collision repairs for insurance and for personal. I remember one day we were carrying a vehicle over to an electrical professional. And I said, Daddy, why we don't do this? Just hire some people and we do this and we make this money. And he says, if I focus on everything, then I won't be a professional on anything. I'll be just part of everything. I want to be the person that when they want a great looking paint job, body job, I am the person for that. So just like how I carry it to this person, that person will carry it to me. What that taught me is that don't try to be everything for everybody. That is where it is that you're gonna make too many mistakes. If it is that you focus that you want to be the greatest in entertainment, then that is what you focus on. And that is what you make sure that all of the decisions that you make lead you to that. And that's one of the things that I definitely said that I saw from my father. And then there are people who I saw in the industry that I emulated. And I never had probably great relationships with them or call them every day and got that mentorship from them. But little conversations where I call them and pick their brain on just some stuff, that helped. And a lot of them don't even know that they were doing it for me. But these are now persons that I'm actually really good friends with as along the way. One of them is my very good friend, Ribicho.
Oh, wow. Awesome. No, your breakout event, like you mentioned, was Daydreams.
Yes.
How did this name come about, and when did you realize the dream was not just a party, but a business you could grow and scale into a multi-brand corporation?
Well, for Daydreams, as in Daydreams was based off of a location. We started out in St. Thomas, and it was at a place called Solaris Estate. When we went up there for the first time, it looked like a daydream. It looked like we were in a daydream. It was just overlooking the water. It was just really scenic, and it didn't feel like I was in St. Thomas. Because, you know, St. Thomas definitely has a more of a dry feel. But we were right over the water. The location was lush, and it had a little water feature on the property as a waterfall. And it just felt like a daydream. And we said, we're just going to run with it. I think we were naming it Oasis at first. And then for some reason, we just said, you know, I want to just focus on the dream of it. And then after that, we just worked with Daydream.
That is super awesome. No, hands down, PJ, right?
Oh, sorry, I missed out on the big part. You were asking my on how it transitioned into Dream.
Well,
So-
yes, and at what point did you realize that it could become like this multi-brand corporation? Like, you know, when did that realization hit you?
So that was when I was a part of RETV. So while I was working at RETV, working with Kimani Robinson at the time, he was a part of ATI. And based on that, I was hosting 3 events through RETV on the ATI brand. At that point, they then invited me on to be a part of it with Daydreams. And then while going through and understanding the way how it operated, I saw things that could have been improved on, things that would allow for more growth. But for some reason, we weren't able to see eye to eye. Eventually, I had reached out to some other persons who were doing events in the grill as well, and we came up with a Dream brand. But the Dream brand, the winning thing with the Dream brand is that we understood more than anything else that our strength was that our unity. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people miss out on. The unity and the strength in unity to accomplish things is remarkable. By myself, I can do a lot. As in, we can make a lot of money, we can build a lot of awareness, but singularly, we would have not been able to create the mega brand. Singularly, I would not have been able to create the mega brand Dream Weekend because it's just a leaning on different relationships that made it what it is so quickly.
And that is an important point because it leads me also to a question that I have, like, how do you go about selecting that dream team, you know, having the right synergy and the right persons around you sharing a similar vision? What is that selection process like?
It's just that commonality of wanting to succeed. And then understanding that you need to know that there's not a lot of overlap. So within Dream, you have our managing director now, who is Scott Dunn. He's amazing, can't beat him. He is a man who will work countless hours dealing with proposal, managing relationships, he is a great leader. You have somebody like Kamal Banke. Kamal is very influential, having to do with PR and also sits on politics. He tries as best as possible to create new policies and to uplift the entertainment industry. And then you have somebody like myself who is more about the creative. I don't have no interest in the policy part. I have no interest with the finance management part, but I'm interested in creating amazing experiences that people will remember and come back time and time again, and building brands. So therefore, we'll never overlap. And if we overlap on something, we know who is the person to lean on for that decision, and respecting that decision that person makes. And that's one of the things I'd say that has worked for us, and putting the egos aside. That's one of the things that, you know, in Jamaica, our egos are huge. It's a good thing, because as in, we're a little island and everybody knows us all over the world. But having to do with partnership, an ego never ever benefits in a partnership, because it doesn't give you that end result of harmony.
Absolutely. No, like you've alluded to, hands down, I think you and your team, you have mastered the art of building brands that consumers love. You provide patrons with a diverse experience, and you serve it on a platter of top class quality entertainment repeatedly. I've been to a number of your events. No. What would you say are the important elements to consider when creating a successful brand or product?
The consumer first. So whenever you think about doing something, you want to know who it is that is selling it to first. So that was one of the things that we won with Dream. Yes, persons were doing things. ATI was happening, in Negril, RTI was happening. But then what we saw a market that wasn't being targeted at all. And that market was the person who just wants a reason to come to Jamaica and just have a great time and set a package for them. So if you remember, Negril was more around Independence Getaway for our Kingstonians, St. Catherine. Everybody was running. Sorry. Am I clear again?
Oh, no, you're good. You're
okay,
saying
cool. Yes, so it was more of a getaway for Kingstonians rather than it being a tourist attraction. What we did was we focused on that part of it. And we wanted to do it as a vacation, not just a party. It needed to be a vacation experience. So by that, we built it out specifically for the tourists. The tourists who wanted to come to Jamaica to party. The tourists who wanted to just experience Jamaica, but also the culture, the entertainment, the food.
Now, after promising a premium event, PJ, and the response is a sold out venue, in the moment, what holds you accountable to ensure that the right experience is not compromised for the sake of increased profit?
Sorry, go again. Internet gave us a little fight.
Okay, I was saying that in the moment, like the Daydreams, and we know the sorts of crowds that you're able to pull out. What holds you accountable at that moment to ensure that the right experience that you're providing is not compromised for the sake of profits?
All right, so I have a personal policy that I will always succeed in entertainment once my last event is my best event. So if I don't want nobody to come to me and say, hey, I didn't like the event that you did 2 years ago. That was my favorite one. The favorite must always be the one that they just went to. If I can accomplish that, then therefore I know that I will have them as a loyal patron. And that's one of the things that we have been able to win with. we've always tried to not necessarily outdo ourselves. Because as in, if you're trying to always outdo yourself, then more likely your budget gonna get wild and you're not gonna be able to see the profit. But it is always to outdo the patron's experience and the patron's expectations. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to go and spend a ton of money, but they must see differences. They must see that the brand is ever revolutionizing itself and evolving.
From Exodus Carnival to Dream Weekend or Crew Bar and Kitchen or Chilling on the Farm, Sundance and no Mint Cleaners that we're gonna get into in full details.
Gamut of everything.
I know, right? Now you have managed to create successful brands. Now, which of your creative accomplishments gave you the most satisfaction and why? I feel like you may say Dream because it's your baby, but let's hear what you think.
It would be Dream, honestly. And the reason why is that if I cannot count how many persons told us it wasn't going to work. And I can imagine, it's 11 directors, 11 at that time persons that came together, set egos aside for the common goal of creating a brand that we all can leave to our kids. So that was part of all of our vision. That this is not supposed to be something that we said that, hey, was this, I used to do this and this was something great that we used to do. This is something that we can pass on. Similarly, like the sandals brand that has been passed on after legendary Butch Stewart has passed. That's what we wanted for that brand, and that's what we have accomplished. Unfortunately, with the times that we're in with the pandemic, we haven't been able to continue doing what we would like to do, that we love doing. But ultimately, it is on that path, to the point where it is that we have public trading companies that have bought into, proven, saw the projections and saw the direction that we were going in and said that they needed to be a part of this. And they have even helped us even more than you can imagine in getting us into being that lean corporate company that can span over time.
How did you deal with, and you and your team deal with the rejection, or just persons saying to you that this thing will not work, and you know that you have a dream, you have that passion, you have that drive into making it what it is today? How did you deal with those negative comments and impact?
It was very important that we tuned it out completely. And by tuning it out, we understood that we did what we needed to do. We did all the thinking, we played out all the scenarios, and this was the decision. The person persons who probably told us it's not gonna work, they're only looking at one part. They have not been privileged to all of our plans, and they're not seeing our vision. And sometimes you have to understand that people not seeing your full vision, so that's why that's their input. If they were to see your full vision, then they'd be like, wow, you're a genius. But it's very important sometimes that you keep some of those things back and just know that you working in secret for your goals.
Now, I think this is one of the things that I really love about you and how your creative juices flow. You just allow it to take you, just go with the flow. I mean, so you move your creative talents from parties to restaurants, with Taste of Life to operate chilling restaurants and Crew Bar and Kitchen along with your partners. Now, how do you actually know when to expand? Because here it is, the parties, it's going well, before the pandemic, of course. How do you know when to expand? And then what are some of the challenges in overseeing multiple businesses?
Well, the first thing is sometimes you don't know when to move on. So you're gonna make some bad decisions. I can tell you, before even getting into events fully, I had a courier company. I had a company called Get It Couriers, which was doing really good, but it was just not, Jamaica wasn't ready for that at the time. So that was a failure. But what it was a learning, because I understood consumers a little better. I understood that you can't have somebody waiting 45 minutes plus for a meal, because they order when they're hungry, not when they're about to get hungry. So those are some things that you learn, and you use it within even the other businesses that you get to, because I was able to understand the consumer better out of that. But how you know when to move on? What I'll give you is my scenario on how I am planning out my life. I ultimately want to go into hospitality. Restaurants, hotels is my goal. So as I said to you, it's more around plotting your path and seeing what route you're going to take to get to it. So we're going to look back at this interview, hopefully in less than 10 years, and look at it and know that it was a part of the whole plan. So I went into entertainment for parties for that reason, to get network and build a network, that network of people believing in a brand and believing in you to hold your brand accountable to them to always deliver. So that's the first one. After that, I said I needed to get into brick and mortar, meaning everyday operation, as in doing an event is a one-off. While it is a lot of work, it still is not the same thing as being on point every day for a restaurant and bar. Actually, I was looking to doing nightclubs first, because actually at a point I was looking to purchase fiction. Deal didn't work out. The person who ended up buying it ended up hiring me. At that point, I'm like, are you crazy? I was looking to buy this place. What do you mean by you want to hire me? But I took that as a step back rather than a setback, and I used that to learn and understand the operation of bars and understand again the customer. From that, I was able to use those learnings to go into restaurants. So the first business that I was a part of in restaurants was Broken Plate. So I partnered with them, kicked it off. No longer part of that. I focused on the group Taste of Life, which is crew bar and chilling. And as you know, chilling has been a phenomenon when we were up by Hope Zoo. Unfortunately, due to COVID, we had moved it to a more central location, which is in New Kingston, that we can now adapt to the new norm, which is deliveries, quick dining, lunch, and then once curfew free up, then we're looking at a later time. But all of those things will lead to when we get into the hotel and the hospitality, because I believe the biggest hotels is a marketing experience. I need to convince you, and I need to do everything that I can convince you to do to come here. And I need to make sure that when you come here, your expectations are not deflated. You're not like, oh my God, I just waste my money. They have a great photographer.
PJ, one second. I want you to hold that thought. We're going to go for a quick break. So we want to say to our listeners, listen up to your top draw dollars. Pick 2, pick 3, pick 4, hot pick, and cash pot lunchtime draws.
When me use Island Fresh with aloe vera, it make me skin feel so much smoother. So if you want to feel better and smell fresher, use Island Fresh with aloe vera.
Manufactured by Island Products, 934-0666.
The time is?
It is now 12:59. Listen up to your top draw dollars. Pick 2, pick 3, pick 4, hot pick, and cash pot lunchtime draws up next.
Reggae in the morning, reggae in the evening, reggae at night time on Irie Radio. Reggae in the morning, reggae in the evening.
To the official live drawing of the Supreme Ventures Lottery Games. This could be your lucky day. Get your tickets out and let the games begin.
Good afternoon. It's Thursday, April 1, 2021. I'm Peter Gay, and welcome to this afternoon's Supreme Ventures live game draw. Now, before we begin, here's a quick look at our mid-morning winning numbers. Remember, all Supreme Ventures live draws are being supervised by the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Commission and observed by the independent auditing firm PwC. Now, let's put some money in your top draw. This afternoon's jackpot is back at $200,000. Congrats to the mid-morning winner. Here are the winning top draw numbers. Good luck. The top draw number is 1. The second top draw number is 15. Counting down, here comes number 14. The fourth top draw number this afternoon is 13, and the final number for $200,000 is number 11. And now, let's pick a play with or dollars game. I hope you're feeling lucky. Get those tickets out, and here goes. Here they come. First in line is number 9. The second dollars number is lucky number 7. Coming down, we have number 2. And that is followed by number 8. Up next is number 12. And coming down is number 34. Now, I do hope you're getting them right so far. The next dollars number is 27. Here comes number 11. Followed by number 6. What's next? Let's see. It's number 31. After 31 is number 5, and the final dollars number this afternoon is 30. Now for some easy winnings with our Pick 2 game. Let's go. The first Pick 2 number, 12, and the second Pick 2 number is 10. So once again, the winning Pick 2 numbers are 12 and 10. Up next, you can play 3 ways. It's our Pick 3 game. The first Pick 3 number, here it comes, it's 0. The second Pick 3 number is 2. And the third and final Pick 3 number is 0. Once again, the winning Pick 3 numbers are 0, 2, and 0. It's now time to turn up your winnings. Get ready for Pick 4. First up, 0. The second Pick 4 number is 7. What will the third Pick 4 number be? Let's see. It's number 6. And the fourth and final Pick 4 number is 7. So once again, the winning Pick 4 numbers are 0, 7, 6, and 7. Now it's easy for win, so let's heat things up with Hot Pick. Here goes. And the winning Hot Pick number this afternoon, here it comes. It's number 10. Congratulations to all Hot Pick winners. Again, the winning Hot Pick number is 10. Let's get ready to play our Cashpot game for Thursday, April 1, 2021. Now you live to play it, but can you win it? Get ready to be a big Cashpot winner. Let's see what the winning Cashpot number will be. And here it comes. This afternoon's winning Cashpot number is 7. Congratulations to all Cashpot winners. Again, the winning Cashpot number is 7. It's now time for some mega winnings, so good luck. Get your tickets out. Here it comes. What will it be this afternoon? The Mega Ball has been selected. Go Mega 6 times per day for more chances to win big. Again, the winning Cashpot number is 7. The lucky mark is Married Woman, and a Mega Ball was selected for both Cashpots and Hot Pick. Now let's take a look at this afternoon's winning numbers. Congratulations to everyone who won. Please note that there will be no Supreme Ventures live game draws tomorrow, April 2, 2021. The winnings will resume on Saturday, April 3, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. Join us again at 3 p.m. for more games you love to play. I'm Peter Gay. Have a supreme afternoon.
Hope you were a big winner. Play your favorite Supreme Ventures games every day and tune in for our live draw 6 times a day at 8:30 a.m., 10:30 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., and 8:25 p.m. on this station. Supreme Ventures, making winners every day.
That was the lunchtime top draw dollars, pick 2, pick 3, pick 4, hot pick, and cashpot draws. Congratulations to all of today's winners. Join us again at 3 p.m. for another chance to win in hot pick and cashpot special pot draws.
Nation, baby.
Rain or shine, any weather. When we go bold, we go Berger.
The time by Berger for lasting beauty and protection is...
It is now 5 minutes after 1 o'clock. You are inside the Easy Skanking. If you're just joining us, we are talking with PJ Wright on the road to success, the journey. Now, PJ, before we went to the cash pot and the break, you were giving us basically how you outlined your path, setting yourself up to the bigger dream, which is to get into tourism, hotels. Let's continue.
Yeah, so as in, we're just really just touching on that ultimately hotels is a marketing experience. You market, you get persons to buy in, and then after that you meet their expectations while they're there. And I believe that with entertainment, food and beverage, and then the marketing put together, and obviously a country like Jamaica, which is one of the destinations that a lot of people have on their bucket list around the world, that we ultimately would be able to build out a good brand. But also you were asking, how is it that I'm able to manage so many brands?
Business, yeah.
Again, it leads to team. I'm not trying to be that person who is doing everything. I'd like to be a part of, I prefer to have 30% of 10 things rather than 100% of one. I'm okay with that.
Say that again for effect. I mean, people need to hear that. I need to be able to write it down.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, as in, I prefer to have 30% of 10 things than 100% of one. And for that, that means that I can focus on my 30%, 100%. Rather than it is that you're trying to hold on to the whole hog and you realize that you end up messing up most of the things. So I'd say that person who's aspiring to get into business, one of the things I'd say to you is that a good lawyer, a good accountant, financial advisor, those are things that you must put on your list to eventually acquire. Not that you need to do that before you start. Before you need to start, you know where you're going. But as you grow, those things help you to make those decisions that they are educated on, that you would have to then learn and you make those mistakes. But some people may not be able to go that route, but you can always go that route with partnership. And I am one of the strongest believers in that. When you partner, you share the load, and also you're able to not necessarily just be a slave to the business, but you can be a part of the business and put your best foot forward in the business, but you're not a slave to it. And that is the way how it is that I'm able to be a part of several things, but not feel like I'm working 24/7.
You know, like a lot of Jamaicans or many Jamaicans grew up hearing this expression, money is the root of all evil. What are your views on this sort of thought process?
I don't know the evil that has come from it. I know it is the root of all taxes. But just genuinely, I'll be honest with you. I don't think that we were taught to understand money. I think that a lot of times we believe that money comes from hard work. I think money comes from best utilization of time. And that means that if my skill set is in plumbing and I say that I'm going to go and build a shelf, I'm going to take 2 days to build a shelf. So it's more than anything else, it's understanding that your time is valuable and use your time to get money. So I would never ever say that it's the root of all evil, but I think the use, when you put it before everything else, it ultimately will create evil.
Now, leading up to 2020, right? The Dream Cruise was looking to set sail, and then here comes COVID pandemic. This, of course,
set sail again.
This, of course, basically stunned a lot of successful businesses worldwide. How were you and your team able to navigate through this crisis, especially with the cruise industry that you are about to partner with for this latest big venture getting the hardest hit?
So remember, we actually did one cruise. So this would have been the second one. Unfortunately, I would say that this has been the hardest period in time. I know that a lot of people like to use the word pivoting, but I think that I'm over that word right now. I think that the entertainment industry has tried so hard to pivot to the point that they have fallen. Because there isn't the opportunity that has come out of it. But what it is that we, as Dream Entertainment, we understand that we have to lead by example. So instead of going and trying to force the hand of government or trying to keep illegal events or those kind of things, we have been trying to create the policy so that we can now have a more united events industry. Because that is the reason why it is that we're where we are. Because as in the reality of it is that we need to understand that the events industry is a huge industry, not a party industry. A funeral is an event, a wedding is an event, a graduation ceremony is an event. And all of these things that have happened, all of these events that have not happened have had an effect. Persons who have not been able to have the funeral that they need, weddings the way how they want, graduations, those things. It will ultimately have a psychological effect. We don't know it now, but what we have realized is that we need, as the leaders, not to now be throwing up our hands and crying about the spilled milk that we have been faced with, but more focusing on that if and when we're in a scenario close to this again, we'll be stronger together. So uniting all of the players within the events, not just the promoter and the DJ. We're talking about the security companies, the janitorial services, the rental companies, find a way how to incorporate the vendors that sell at the events, and just show that this is an overall united industry that we can speak with one voice, because we're not able to do that right now.
And that is an awesome way to look at it, where you're being inclusive, like the entertainment industry, as opposed to just focusing on your specific brand, but seeing the picture from a wider perspective, a wider viewpoint. I know you said that you don't like the word pivoted and you think that the entertainment industry itself has pivoted to the point where it has fallen. But the truth be told, when we look at a PJ Wright, you and your team, you have pivoted your businesses to the point where you are not only thriving, but you're not only surviving, but you're thriving in the midst of the pandemic. So if you can just share with us some of your strategies that you use to propel your business, and like you mentioned, not be in a space where you're crying over spilt milk, or allow yourself to be depressed and feeling like you can't go on, but seeing the glass half full instead of half empty.
That came out of understanding and knowing myself personally. So for me, when the pandemic hit, I was depressed. I speak on this every time that I can. When I talk about depressed, I mean in the wholehearted way of depression, wondering why me? How this will reach me? Look at all that I've done, all these stuff. I got a call or a message religiously every 3 days from just somebody asking me to borrow or to beg $2,000, $1,500. That took a mental toll on me, because I understand these were people who were feeding from an industry that I was a part of. And I know understand that those persons weren't looking to go and buy clothes or those. That amount of money is essential for food for kids, the amount that would be needed to make sure that the lights stay on and those kind of stuff. And I was depressed because I didn't know what decision to make. I didn't know if I should be stop assisting, because I don't know what position I would be in on my uncertainties. And honestly, that put me in a state that I can't even explain properly. And the good part that came out of that is that I realized myself and understood that I don't have anybody who's going to help me. Everybody's going through this. So even if there's somebody who wanted to be nice and wanted to help, they are going through their own stuff. And based on that, you had to help, you had to pull up your own bootstraps. And by that, I started doing more research, figuring out what it is that I can get into, as the term was always being used, essential. And I focused on what is essential. I couldn't become a doctor in a quick time. I couldn't open up a pharmacy, couldn't get into doing a wholesale. Actually, at one point, started out doing wholesale out of one of our friends' truck, a truck that was used for events, not being used. We used to pack it up with goods and we drive around and sell out of it. But that wasn't competitive because it just wasn't something that could last very long, but it was a fill gap. And out of that, I said, the one thing that is clear is that cleaning, janitorial is something that will be with us. So I did the research on understanding when it was that we started using antibacterial soaps, hand sanitizers, and those stuff. That came out of our last pandemic. The research around that and the improvement on that lifestyle. So when I realized that, I started looking to Asian countries to see what was happening. Because remember, they had 3 months on us. They were going through it already. And by understanding and seeing over there the mask wearing that was happening, the use of hand sanitizers constantly, and then more than anything else, the disinfecting and sanitizing of locations and surfaces. And I said, well, I need to figure out how best I can pivot into this. Out of that, I was able to make some good partners in the US to get equipment. I was a little bit ahead of a lot of persons because it wasn't sure if that is what was the thing to do. And I remember when we started it in Jamaica with mint cleaners, I got defeated again because a lot of persons that I went to were telling me that I was trying to exploit something. And these were people who I respected their opinions. And I said, no, actually feel like this is something that is clear. If it is that we're sending a message that we need to sanitize our hands, then we need to sanitize things that our hands can touch. And overall, we understand that the virus is spread through contact, through the air, as we have now learned. But more than anything else, you can contaminate an area. So I did the research, and thank God that everything went online. So I was able to get certifications for the entire team online, the training, and all of those stuff. So that worked out very well. But one of the things that I've always said, whenever I'm on a forum, even with the ministries, I have promoted that more companies need to get into this. Reason being, we have a workforce that has been devastated. And I do not necessarily believe that a security guard should be the person who should be at a door taking temperature and making sure to have a sanitizer on. It should be a sanitizing agent or a health agent.
Somebody with the know-how.
Or a clean agent, whichever name you want to give it. Because if it is so that you have somebody whose role is to make sure that the business is operating in a clean and safe way, then this will help overall to stop the spread. And I think that, as in we have seen where it is that a lot of these outbreaks have happened within businesses. If it was that we had more of that happening, meaning to say, go around and say, oh, well, John is not wearing his mask, and make a note to just remind John that they need to wear their mask. As just an agent for making sure that those protocols are kept. We could hire more persons that would be trained specifically towards that and overall get some more employment. We have to think about the different ways now to then say somebody is employed and also give them a new direction to head in, not to say, hey, I'm just going to be a security guard. Not saying that it's an issue, but saying that you're not securing, you're not a security guard here. We want you to be focused on health. We want to make sure that you're focused on cleanliness, not just security.
Expand the job description.
This one, yes.
No,
and probably the uniform as well. Not as serious, and militant, but a little bit more on the health.
No, you have managed to create job opportunities during the pandemic through mint cleaners. For some of our listeners and businesses, persons who are listening now, and they want to get the services. How does that work?
Well, I've moved everything online, so everything is done through an online portal through our website. You make the request, make a reservation, and then we contact you. So our protocol is that you have to request our service. After requesting our service, then we go into an agreement for us to come in, assess the place, and then also execute it. A lot of persons, as in the good part with it is that as it is an essential service, based on where we are now with the pandemic, we're able to travel, we're able to execute even after hours, as it is something that is essential to us, keeping COVID out of the society.
Now, as you mentioned, the online, I think you are still fortunate because you can pivot your business and it still works with the online platform. Social media has become this place where it caused a lot of persons to fall in love with the results. Like, oh wow, PJ has expanded his business, mint services now, etc. But not the journey. They don't understand the journey or the hard work and the effort that is put into it, because the platform just showcases the final product almost. What would you say to some of our young people who feels instant gratification or this sense of entitlement without putting in the work?
I think that's just one of the effects of social media. And we can't fight it. But what we can do is we can change the content that we see. So like for me, unfortunately, as in people may think that I may not be interested in what they're doing, but I have made sure that the content that comes to me, I control it. So I want to see the people who are putting in the work. I want to see their journey, not the persons who just want to show the shine. As in, we can understand. People want to show the good parts of their life, but I like seeing the journey. So I dictate who it is that comes up in my feed. So I also try as best. That as simple as it is, it's not just the glory parts of life. You show the work, as in many times, even through social media, show the hours, show the work, show the team, show the gratefulness to persons who are doing good. And then also highlighting others. I think that is one of the things that if we do more of, people will change the way how they post, the way how they market themselves ultimately. I use an example of a person, my very, very, very good friend, Ramesh. Ramesh is on the grind non-stop. Ramesh is on the grind for himself, for his team, and he also gives away a ton. If I had half of the heart that that man had, I think I'd be a great person. So I know that he's a great person. But a lot of people may only see the part that they want to see in that person, not seeing the grind, and may say, but oh, why you post this? You look like you're showing off. They're going to say whatever they want to say, anyway you take it. So sometimes you have to just know that you're doing the right thing, and you know that you're doing it the way how you want it to be done.
No, absolutely. Earlier in the conversation, you kind of alluded to this, and we know right now, April 1, for years during this time, Easter weekend, you know, you would be leading up to one of the biggest weekends with all this adrenaline channeled into delivering a premium product for fans. But with the pandemic and where do you direct all of this energy? Or does it bring like a somber feeling to you now, knowing that, it's Easter weekend, it would have been Daydreams, just the whole creating process and putting together a concert for consumers to enjoy?
It does. I definitely have that somber feeling. I had that 2 days ago. Because as in I got some notifications and just things that were from 2019. From Facebook and those kind of stuff. And it gave me a little bit of a somber feeling, but what I did more than anything else, I was grateful. I was grateful that all the persons who I care for, the persons who are dear to me, were in a good place, and that COVID has not had an absolute devastation on them. They may not be where they want to be, but as in just that grateful feeling of just knowing that, yes, we have to go through this and we're going to get through it, that was good. But the energy part of it, boy, you just have to just take up some other things, you have to just find some other things that you love and put some energy into it. I try as best as possible to keep the energy and keeping the pounds off, so.
Now, many entrepreneurial dreams birth from one wanting to, be a boss and not an employee. But how important is it for aspiring entrepreneurs to understand that building a valuable brand will require one being a more committed employee than ever before, especially in the preliminary stages?
Well, I hate the term boss overall. I know people use it in an empowering way and a positive way, but I am an employer, and by being an employer, you have employees, and you have to understand that they are your customer. So yes, more than anything else, you have to find ways to motivate, keep them focused, and understand that they are ultimately who you as an employer need to keep in a happy state. You're not going to always be able to do it. That's a fact. It's just that it is. As in, different personalities may not work out, but the most important part is understanding that anything that you're doing, you need to take them into account, and also to find a way to keep them motivated. That would be my biggest take on it.
What would you say is the biggest misconception about becoming an entrepreneur?
That is easy, as in that it is glitz, it's glamour, that there is, as in there's more losses and more pitfalls in it than the sky, than the ups. That's the reality of it. And it's hard to make decisions for people, yourself, and profitability. So it's a balance that you have to make. You have to make sure that your employees are good. You have to make your customers happy, and you have to make sure that if it is that you have partners, or if it's just for yourself, that you have to make sure that you are profitable. And that harmony is always hard to meet, and that's the part that will keep you up. But for some people, it will keep them motivated, it will keep them creating, and keep them driven. Some people, it may do the opposite and just kind of send them off on the deep end.
Speaking of balance, being an entrepreneur, is it difficult in balancing your family life and work life? Because, you know, it is your own business. You have to channel your energies and efforts into making it a success that sometimes can pull you in the opposite direction. How do you balance?
Well, COVID has fixed all of that. We have a curfew that's 8 o'clock after the home. So unlike before, as in where the events will be up until 2 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., because you have to pack up and thing, or the restaurants, you have to be open until 2 a.m. No, the good part is that you get to get quality time, and that fixes that. So I must say that that's one of the things that has been good. I got married last year in the pandemic. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I have a partner that I love and also that is supportive of my dreams and my goals. And I'm also supportive of hers. She's in essential services as a doctor, so it's a little bit tiring for her. So you just have to make sure the place keep quiet so she can sleep.
And as we come almost to a close, what would you say is the greatest lesson that the pandemic has taught you?
Communication. And I say communication, not meaning just chat for the sake of it, is being open with your communication, having genuine conversations, and allowing yourself to be a little bit more vulnerable when you're having those conversations. The reality of it is that the pandemic has put everybody in a similar experience. And the more that you're able to have those conversations openly and honestly, you'll see how much you and other people have in common, and you can find ways that you guys can win together. The amount of times that I've had open conversations that have resulted in opportunities are countless during this time. I've just been able to not be just chatting on my business, but just have a conversation with somebody and it be genuine from a real place about what is happening with me. And somebody has said, hey, you know what, probably I can assist in this way, or probably I know this person who needs that service or needs assistance with this. And that is what I would say I've benefited from or learned from the pandemic.
Post-COVID, what do you foresee for the entertainment industry? Do you foresee us going back to normal, the way we used to party, the way we used to party, or we will have to come up with new innovative ways to enjoy ourselves outdoors?
What I know will happen for sure is that we'll have a much more organized events and entertainment industry. And that's a good thing. That would be a big win overall for the industry. As in, unfortunately for Jamaica, events partying is seen as fun and not a business. We need to understand the Super Bowl is an event. The Grammys is an event. The Olympics is an event. And those are multi-million-dollar generating events. And once we understand the level that we should be taking our brand as Brand Jamaica, we can then hold a higher respect for it and not necessarily ask for more, but demand more respect, not more money or those stuff, more respect for the brands that we build, and ultimately we will benefit from it monetarily.
And finally, PJ, what business advice would you give to small business owners and entrepreneurs who are sitting, waiting in the wings, waiting for the pandemic, the tide to change before they take their business to the next level? What advice do you have for those persons?
That one is wrong, because as in, it all depends on everybody's circumstance. You have some people who dream of their business being a multi-billion-dollar business, and you have persons who dream of their business being exposed and experienced by a lot of people, and they do it more for the craft or for the creative. I would say to you that this is something that we thought probably would have lasted 3 months, probably 4 months. Would have never experienced, I believe that we'd have been in this 1 year solid. If not now, then when? So I would say now is the time to make the change, because it can only, this is the direction that things will be moving into. We have seen it. Majority of our transactions have gone online. Majority of our experiences have gone online. Once upon a time, I'll be sitting in the studio talking to you. No, we are doing it virtually. So times have changed, and we have to find ways to change with it, because what we'll do is be left behind too far that we can't catch up.
Wow. PJ Wright, thank you so much. This has been a teachable moment, absolutely informative. And I have learned a lot. And, you know, one of the things that resonated with me is that for people in general, for us to look at the entertainment industry as a business and not just for fun.
Yes. Well, definitely. And thank you. Happy to be here with IRFM, you know. So that's a big deal.
It is, right? I mean, you know, our global reach and impact. So thank you so much, PJ Wright. It has been really fantastic. You are an awesome creative. Keep doing it. Keep creating. And I really love how you never compromise your standard or your product that you're giving us, whether it's your restaurants or your events. And I haven't been able to experience mint cleaners yet to really speak on it.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Right? But I'm sure it is top notch nonetheless. But thank you so much for sharing.
All right, then. Later.
All right. So that's PJ Wright, an innovative entertainment and marketing maverick who has created some of Jamaica's most iconic events. We're talking about Dream Weekend, Daydream, Chilling on the Farms, Festival of Floats, and Exodus Carnival. Empress Tanya Moreva says,